All right, so pleased to be joined today by Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, the former world middleweight champion of the world, undefeated 32-0, 19 KOs, heading to a Thanksgiving weekend pay-per-view showdown against unbeaten 168-pound former champion David Benavidez in Las Vegas at Mandalay Bay. Demetrius, congratulations on finally reaching this point. I know this is the bout that you have long aspired to stand at.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah, I am champion at 154, 160, now looking to be three-divisional world champion at 168, fighting who I believe is still the champion because nobody ever beat him for his title, but he beat himself, of course, due to his lack of discipline at times and losing out on the scale. But I believe David Benavidez is the 168, one of the best 168 pounders out there, and I'm excited for this fight.
You bring up an incredible point right from the start, and that is discipline. Yes, we know you're a proud snack fighter sponsored by Victor Conti's very successful company up in the Bay Area. And I know you've been working out up there right now. But discipline, let's go back to that. Look, I mean, you're a guy with 350 amateur fights. You're a guy who is well schooled in footwork, in creative angles, in your own speed. The dedication that you have put into this sport, I know you are surprisingly more than a 4-1 underdog in this fight. But does that lend itself to an upset in this spot?
Of course. Like, what are we talking about here? And new, and still, and new, and still. What my boy Webster Snipe said, always bet on black man. So, this is the opportunity for people to make money with finally betting on me. This is just what it is. Finally that opportunity comes because usually it's like I'm negative 1,000 to win 100. So now today, it is what it is. I get it. I understand the dynamic of things when you look at it in the situation of David being at the high weight class, or just being a little bit more active than me. People have their own, their own opinions and about things, but that's cool. That's fine. That's what makes the world go around.
Yeah, I mean, I think as you're looking at those odds, I could see why maybe even the odds makers are saying, hey, this guy Andrade's moving up in weight to super middleweight, so to speak, right? He's a former natural middleweight champion. And he's dealing with a guy who's basically squeezing his body to make 168, a killer power puncher. I think, though, when you take a closer look, you can really like kind of flip the script because and just talking to Victor Conti at Snack, I know he says, you are a naturally far bigger guy. I mean, you're walking around right now at 190. You're going to get down to 168 for the fight, but you may very well enter that ring on Saturday night at 190. So can you talk about the importance of size in this bout?
Yeah, size does matter. Weight, of course, 2, 3, 4 pounds definitely makes a big difference in the sport of boxing. But as far as like David Benavidez being this hard punching guy, I have not seen one fight where he hits any of his opponents with one punch and they go tumbling over. He's a build up, accumulating type of guy. Of course, he has like you said, he squeezes to take off the weight. He's like naturally heavier guy in the sense of it, but I'm 6'1", 6. He's 6'2". Not a big difference, and I carry my weight well in the areas that I need to put them in for power, speed, and endurance, of course. So this will be my second fight at 168,
Right.
and what better way other than to fight one of the elite best fighters out there.
Yeah, I'll make you answer for another thing that I know people are kind of like throwing at you. And that is, let's list off your past four opponents: Desmond Nicholson, Jason Quigley, Liam Williams, and Luke Keeler. Not exactly, huge names in this sport. Is that a sufficient resume to walk to the ring against someone like David Benavidez, who really has been So impressive.
Yeah, so again, my resume is undefeated, Olympian, beat everybody out there, not just the four people you last name who has the heart and the will and the courage to fight me during those times, other than the other fighters that's out there that had more than enough money, enough opportunity, enough time to do a real camp to make the fight happen. At the end of the day, then you say Benavidez, you can go down his last four and who has he fought? What's his resume?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, nobody's really fighting the most elite fighters out here today because there's only so many of them, and nobody had actually had gotten the opportunity of doing that amongst the golden boy.
Yeah.
Other than that, he had the opportunity because he is who he is, and everybody's waiting for that opportunity. I have never been the one to wait for that. I'm trying to get everything else going to demand and also entice the fans to why we should be fighting the best fighters, not holding off for business sake. But I understand it is a business.
One of the things we know about you is that you're a very impressive starter. Does this fight suit itself to that type of mentality again, that this is what you want to bring to this fight? You're going to get those early rounds quickly?
I do whatever it takes to win every single fight, every single time. And of course, adjustments will be made, and during the fight, of course. And yeah, of course, I'm gonna go in there and win every single round. Like that's just what it is. If I'm winning 8 rounds and I got the last couple of rounds, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna risk it all. Like, if I'm smooth sailing, I'm just gonna continue to smooth sail. Like at the end of the day, like that's just what it is. And I'm giving you guys the different class levels of like this, how much more I can make it look like a one-sided fight. Yeah, you know what they say, as good as you are on an instrument, it could be boring, but it's because I have the IQ to make anybody look like they don't belong in the ring with me. So I mean, it is what it is. Like I mean, it just
Yeah. Some guys, people have taken those shots at you. They've called you boring. How do you feel about that?
then get in the ring and beat me up.
Yeah. Does it sting at all? Are you convinced that this fight is going to be the exception? That I know you've been involved in some entertaining bouts, but I mean, do you think this is
Of
going to be
course,
the
everybody I ever
entertaining of
got in the
all?
ring with,
Yeah.
their ass hit the canvas. I hit you. I hit people. People use my fights for studying, for angles, for feet work, for setup, for traps, for all those things. Like people just like who's saying that? Any real fighters or boxing that wants to get into the ring and become a fighter or become a champion, they go watch Demetrius Andrade. At the end of the day, they might not say it all, but they do because they know what they can get out of watching me doing what I do versus somebody else that's just going in there doing whatever, making fights, and there's no understanding why he's doing these things. It's just going in and slug each other out. Like I get it, I understand the fans might entertain into that, but not your brain, not your health. You know what I'm saying? Not your physical condition. Like all that stuff matters at the end of the day too. I'm in here to do the hitting and not get hit.
There's been some questions about what's going on in his camp. How productive has your camp been, and how important is that?
Yeah, Mike, this camp been great within the ups and the downs, and understanding how to, get through it. So when I say great, it hasn't been perfect, but it's just been great with the sense of whatever obstacles and things been thrown our way, we've been able to dissect and make the right decision. And again, you know what I'm saying? This the key factor and the key player of it all here with Snack and his facility, Victor Conte, and him allowing us to come and take over his house in a respectful way, and him making sure that he has the bat right over his shoulder just in case he gotta, and we had used it a few times. It has been used, and that's just what it is. And nobody is everybody is held accountable, and even myself. So today was one of them days. I'm like, Vic, you might have to pull the bat on me without you even. I admit, today is a little day for me, so just you might have to whip me and Gale a little bit today, and that's just what it is. Like I'm not
Right.
running from it, but also acknowledging like, okay, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, you gave me one of the greatest quotes of all time. You walked out of the ring, and I think it was after the Selecki fight. Victor got you on the phone, and I said, "How's it going, Demetrius?" And you said, "I think this is the exact quote. I just want to get laid." I wanted to ask you, dead serious,
That's funny.
how important is? I mean, is this a huge part of your preparation of going celibate? Do you need to do that as a fighter?
You know, there's a such thing as really the sweet science and knowing that testosterone help builds up energy, strength, and endurance, and muscle buildup, muscle recovery, and having somebody like Victor to help educate me on just more than just that, just everything. So yeah, it takes a toll on you, of course, but if you go to snack.com and you get yourself some ZMA, you won't have to worry about that too much. You make sure you'll be all right the next day.
All right, great. Demetrius, I thank you.
Snack in the morning, snack in the evening, snack at supper time.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much for your time, Demetrius.
All right,
We're
no
all
problem.
looking forward to it. Remember, Thanksgiving weekend, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade versus David Benavidez. Thank you again so much, Demetrius.
No problem. Thank you, Lance.